Hello and welcome to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich and our guests are Jess and Daniel Hammond from the Church of Christ, and they'd previously been on the show last week, but also they'd been on the show 16 years ago, so we're doing a bit of an update and we're reading bits from the Gospel as well. Welcome back to the program.
Great to be here.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Lovely to have you. So we'll get straight into it. I'll just start reading some Gospel verses and I'll just see what your thoughts are, what comes to your heart when we read them. So from 1 Corinthians 2:5, that your faith might not rest in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. That our faith doesn't rest in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. So it's like, for me, I'm thinking it's like you just don't trust everybody with everything that's in your heart. You know, we really need to go beyond that and pray to God, don't we?
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to share?
It's this kind of verse you could just meditate on. I think it is,
isn't it? It's a beautiful one.
Quite rich, isn't it? But yeah, to understand what the power of God is, I guess, and because we get so much information and so much wisdom, everything sounds good, but just to get back to who God is and the power that is there, that is afforded to us by knowing Him.
And who's God to you, would you say, when you think about it?
Yeah, I think it.
His power, like does
His power. I think knowing God for me is over the years is a way of through worship especially. I've got to have a relationship with Him. I feel in an intimate way. So there's a power that I think that you actually can a presence that you can feel within you that changes you by knowing Him, by being close with Him on an intimate level.
And also your singing, like the music you play must also elevate you to another level as well, to really feel God's presence. Would you say that as well?
Yeah,
like
I think
when you're singing?
it's always been a really natural place of connection, and it takes it from a realm of performing more to a place of becoming a really sacred space of connection with God. And especially when you lead other people to sing and worship Him in that way, it just becomes a very sacred moment, and it's it's quite powerful. And I think music has the ability. God's given us beauty and creativity to connect to our spirits. You know, our world is very cerebral. You know, we like to understand and have logical explanations for everything, but God uses things like music and beauty to sort of just cut through all of that to this deeper heart level. And I know I think of that verse, and I think, you know, God wants us to know that we know, rather than just know in our heads, but know Him in our hearts in a really a deeper way that is more foundational, I guess. Because I think sometimes the logic of the world can make sense, but then it can flip in an instant. So we need to know in our hearts, you know, who our God is.
I remember once when I was kind of searching, I was like in my 20s, and I just thought, you know, I was walking along High Street in Kew, and there was a tram going past, but I wasn't going to catch it. I was just walking, and I was just desperate at that time to really know. Like, I need facts. Like, is God real? I don't want to muck around with anything, you know, airy fairy, or, you know, I just really wanted to know: is this real?
Yeah.
Is this real? And so as I was walking, I said to God in my really strongly, I said, "If you are real, stop that tram right now." And the tram stopped, and it wasn't a tram stop, and I was like freaked out.
Wow.
But you know, when you ask something from the core of you, the absolute core of you, you get an answer. And imagine if we pray like that all the time. Really asking from the core. And it was really, and I thought, should I get in it? I didn't really want to catch the tram. I thought, I may as well. So I just went in, and I was thinking, oh, it's just so amazing. But anyway, so we'll go on to the next one. James 1:5-8. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all who reproach, and it will be given him. But let him ask in faith with no doubting, for the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind. For that person must not suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. He is double-minded, unstable in all his ways. That's quite a strong one. What would you like to say on that one? Have strong faith, like no mucking around.
Yeah. Well, it's. I think there's something in that God, invites us to be bold, bold with what we are asking for Him. He's a big God, and He can deal with our
Yes.
our requests, and especially if they come from a deep and genuine place. I think that's what He wants us to be real, and He wants us to be authentic and to really cry out. But I guess it sort of challenges us to be true to our word as well, and to be people of integrity that really do what we say.
Yeah.
So I
really love that one. What are your thoughts, Daniel?
Yeah, I like that promise where
Yeah.
if we do lack wisdom, we can ask for it, and He will answer. If we genuinely seek Him, I think we will get an answer for that. And I've had a situation once when there was a misunderstanding and someone was really angry with me, and I asked God for wisdom because I didn't know what to do. And the verse that came to me was something like, a small gift pacifies wrath or anger. So in that situation, I gave him a small gift in secret, and they just calmed down. So yeah,
wasn't me, was it?
Wasn't you? No. It was a long time ago now. But that was one direct application that I saw in my life that God was right there.
And did it come to you, that verse come to you spiritually in the moment, or was it something that came afterwards?
A little bit afterwards, I think. It came
So did
to
you
me.
actually give them a physical gift, or was
it was just a can of Coke.
Yeah,
Because I knew they liked Coke, so
yeah.
it just all worked
Isn't
out.
that amazing?
Yeah.
That's so amazing. It's like even that, what is it? I don't know what it's called. I can't remember. But you can pray about something, hold the Bible, and then open it up and put your finger there, and then sometimes the answer's there. But you've got to do it with real faith and trust that whatever that the question you ask, and then you put your finger there and you find it. And I've done that with so many things and found answers like long answers, and correct answers, like they just seem so right.
Yeah.
And that's just an example of it. You just follow through.
Yeah.
It's now time for a break. We'll be back with more very shortly. Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich, and we're here with Jess and Daniel Hammond from the Church of Christ. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. And so now I'm going to read another gospel verse, which is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Him who strengthens me. Have you got any experiences you'd like to share on that verse?
Honestly, I think this is just a whole life verse, really. I mean, more recently, going through the lockdowns and all of that, we needed a lot of extra strength, but and then some health issues after that as well. But I think it's a posture of our hearts, this verse, because so much of our world would say to us, it's about striving, it's about doing things in your own strength. You can do it. You can. These motivational. We're thrown with motivational things left, right and centre, and I think at the core of it is actually we can't do anything on our own, in our own strength. We really, nothing of value we can do in our own strength without the help of God. And as challenging as it is when we face roadblocks and when we face health issues or whatever it is, different obstacles, to be able to lean on that verse and say, it's only through Christ. He will give me the strength, and yes, I will overcome and I will be strong, but it's not through my own strength. It's through the power that He gives. It releases us from trying to strive and to make things happen on our own, and it invites God to really do way more than we could ever ask or imagine if we invite His strength and His power, and if we, I guess, if we surrender to it. That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's so powerful too, because it's like that's how miracles happen.
Absolutely.
I think with that kind of mindset, isn't it?
Yep, and it just means He can do so much more than we could ask or imagine, but we've got to be willing to hold it loosely and let go of what we think, it should look like, and allow Him to do what He wants.
because it might be a little bit like egocentric too. When you think
Absolutely.
you can do it all. Like I don't need any God.
Yep.
I don't need any God.
Yeah.
God doesn't exist. I don't need him.
Yep.
That kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, we are made in God's likeness and image. That's
Yes.
true. That's how he created us.
Yeah.
But we're connected to him. There's he hasn't cut the scissors,
No.
cut the cord.
And it's only as we get to know who he is that he shows us who we truly are as well. And it's only in that union that we can really live in the fullness of who we're meant to be.
And I think that's the key. It's through Christ. So that's that aligning with him, connecting with him, being close to him through Christ. Yeah.
Yes, through Christ, through Jesus Christ. Yeah, beautiful. And the next one is, for by grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not your own doing, it is the gift of God. I'll read it again. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing, it is the gift of God. Wow. What would you like to say on that?
Yeah, I think it's again about letting go of our need to control and to receive the gift that God has given us. Ultimately, in Jesus, that He is the way and the truth and the life, and it's through Him that we have all that we need. But we have to admit first of all that we don't have all the answers, and that His grace is enough. That it's actually nothing that we can do ourselves. We can't earn His love. We can't earn His grace. It's actually, and in many other religions, you earn your way to salvation, but it's in the Christian faith, it's the opposite. He offers it as a free gift, and that's very releasing. On one level, we don't have to earn or strive. We just have to receive the gift that God's given us.
If everyone could believe that, imagine if everyone could believe that they are loved just as they are.
Yeah.
And that if they really want something, they just have to go to their Father and ask.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yep.
It's just something so powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. And simple.
And simple,
Yeah.
But maybe there's a current in the world, I think, that pulls people away from that.
Yeah.
And that's why people are struggling, because if they believe that, they wouldn't be struggling. They'd be like, okay, it'll happen when God wants it to happen, kind of thing.
Yep.
So much more peace in that, isn't there?
Yeah, and acceptance and
Beautiful. And the other one was, for we walk by faith and not by sight. Corinthians 5:7, for we walk by faith, not by sight.
Yeah, well, walking implies kind of taking steps. And often we can easily just rely on what we see. So
In front of us.
if we're walking with faith, that implies that we try to hear God and step through, make those decisions. With His word, with what He's talking to us about.
And again, I think our world is so reliant on logic and rationale, but realistically, everything we do requires a step of faith. Even just getting up in the morning or catching a bus, or we all take a step of faith actually every day. We take a step of faith with people we love and putting ourselves out there. So it's actually, we are actually taking more steps of faith than we realise. So it shouldn't be that big of a stretch in terms of God, to actually take that step of belief. And there's always going to be a little bit of a gap between what we know and what we want to know, or what we want to believe. So it always is going to take a bit of a step of faith to believe what we want to believe. And for God, I think that's what this idea of seeing with eyes of faith, rather than just seeing what's in front of us. So knowing that that God is there and that He is real. It does take a step of faith, but so does a lot we do in life. So
and even if you don't do that, you're going on another place that's going to be much more risky and awful anyway.
Yep. Yeah.
So you might as well take the high road.
Yeah. Yeah.
So true. I remember once I was travelling with my dad, and I lost him. This was when I was 17, and I was in Italy or something, and I thought he'd got off the bus, and I got off the bus, and I couldn't find him.
Oh.
And someone helped me. And somehow, with my limited Italian, I managed to get there. But we walk by faith. Anyway, we'll have to go to a break now. You're watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly.
Spirit flowing in me.
Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich, and if you've just joined us, we're with Jess and Daniel Hammond, who are from the Church of Christ, and they're also musicians and singers. Welcome back to the program.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Now, you've written another beautiful song yourselves together. This
Yep.
is just both co-written. Could you tell us a little bit about this song that we're going to play it at the end of the program, so everyone, all the viewers, will see it? And it's a really beautiful song,
Oh,
but we'd
thank
love to
you.
hear a bit about it before we go to it.
Yeah. You want to share?
Yeah, we wrote it during the lockdown in 2000, well,
So it was the second lockdown.
Second lockdown.
Whatever year that was.
whatever the
It's all a blur.
Yeah, when we were all a bit weary, I guess, with what was going on, and we wrote a song about rest. And it was one of those songs that kind of, the tune just kind of dropped into our minds, and the words, it just happened really quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was based on the reading in Matthew 11:28, where Jesus says, "Come to me, all who are weary, and I will give you rest. You will find rest for your souls." And yeah, this term kept coming to mind, battle weary. You know, we were battle weary because we've been, facing so many different things, and emotionally we were weary. So our souls were very weary. And so I think the melody dropped, and it all just sort of felt together. And not all songs do that, but this one did. And
was
I
meant
think
to be.
we were doing some Facebook Live music at the time, and we did it straight to Facebook. We thought we'd get it out there. And then we recorded it. So the latest songs, it's part of a series of songs that we've released called Songs from the Well, which is all about, the songs out of the COVID time, finding peace and life and healing out of that time of hardship. So we released it as part of that, and our good friend Charlotte's playing the violin, so very special.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
And what were the words of the song? Can you sort of explain a little bit about the words of the song in it?
Yeah, again, all based on that that scripture which you'll hear in it, and it's God's invitation to us to come to Him. He is,
And rest with Him.
He is the living water. He is where we find all that we need. So no matter what we're facing, we will find rest and peace and hope if we come to Him and just allow Him to give those things to us.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, I wonder even if that's another thing that brought The Chosen out, or if it started before that. But a lot of people are watching that series, The Chosen.
Yep.
And it's something really beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, yes.
But we'll leave our viewers with this song. And thank you so much for coming on the program. It's been wonderful having you both.
Our pleasure, our great pleasure.
So we'll leave the guests with the song, The Rest.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you for watching the program. We'll leave you with this beautiful song from Jess and Daniel Hammond, Rest.